So hello everybody, it's Bhante Joe here. Just thought to record a short video for the internet. So yeah, thought we could start with maybe a little bit of meditation. Could look maybe about 3 feet in front and close our eyes. Let's make sure I'm on time. And we can focus in on the breath. Can know when it's coming in and know when it's going out. If we breathe in a long breath, can just know I'm breathing in a long breath. And if we breathe in a short breath, can just know I'm breathing in a short breath. And we can focus in on the breath at the tip of the nose. And if notice any patterns of tension or tightness around the nose or the face, can just let those relax. And can try to be aware of the breathing process as the breath enters in through the nose, all the way through the in-breath, as the in-breath turns to the out-breath, all the way through the out-breath, and as the out-breath turns back to the in-breath again. And if the mind wanders away, can just bring it back to the present moment, to the breath. And before we finish meditating, can spread thoughts of goodwill, wishing may all beings all around everywhere be happy and at ease. May they put in place the causes necessary to be happy and at ease. And we can make our minds infinite, can make them unbounded, all the way to the ends of the universe and beyond. In every dimension, may all beings all around everywhere be happy and at ease. Okay, so we can open our eyes and do a short reflection on the Dhamma. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhaṃ saranang gacchāmi, Dhammāṃ saranang gacchāmi, Sanghaṃ saranang gacchāmi. Dutiyampi Buddhaṃ saranang gacchāmi, Dutiyampi Dhammāṃ saranang gacchāmi, Dutiyampi Sanghaṃ saranang gacchāmi. Tatiyampi Buddhaṃ saranang gacchāmi, Tatiyampi Dhammāṃ saranang gacchāmi, Tatiyampi Sanghaṃ saranang gacchāmi. So hello everybody, hope that you're having a great day wherever it may be in the world. And so it was a nice week this past week. There was a senior monk who came to visit and had the opportunity to stay with him, which was really wonderful. And there's the Buddha recommends this kind of good friendship. He calls it Kalyana Mitta. And there's actually a sutta where he talks about people should develop kind of concentration, faith, all these various good qualities. And then the sutta goes on and says, if you have good friends, then you can be expected to develop, faith, concentration, discernment, all these various good qualities. And one of the reasons for this is that when two people come together, 3 people or 5 or 10, they usually come together for a purpose. So, most of the time it depends what our purpose is. I remember when I was young. And the purpose then was usually to hang out and maybe have like a little entertainment. You kind of get together, watch the football game, or get together and party or whatever it is. Kind of get together for this purpose. So this, when people come together, they come together for this kind of reason. There's something they do together. And this is why the Buddha says, when you have kind of friendship with good people, this is kind of you're being in a way. I can't remember if it's the exact quote, but it says, regarding being friends with people, your being together is like that. In other words, you come together for a purpose, and you're there for that purpose, and your being together is like that. It's for that purpose. If we have friends who are kind of love to drink, tell lies, and do whatever kind of bad things, gamble. We hang around those people and we take on their habits. It's because this is the kind of thing that those people come together to do. So if we stop doing them, we'll very quickly fall away from those friendships. So I remember when I was young, I used to do a lot of smoking. And the time came in high school when I decided that I didn't want to do so much smoking anymore, wanted to quit smoking. And and what I found was that a lot of the friends I had still hung out with them, but there wasn't the same type of kind of connection that there was before. It's kind of they were still coming together to smoke, and I had quit smoking. So we'd get together and they'd be smoking, and I'd just be kind of hanging out there, a bit like a third wheel or whatever you call it. And so of course eventually still remained friends with them, but our contact began to fade. There's kind of this shared activity. We weren't doing it together anymore. And so the same thing when we have friends who are good, friends who are admirable, friends who have these qualities of virtue, friends who have qualities of generosity, friends who have good practice in meditation, then our being together with those people becomes like that. these are the kind of practices that those people like to take on. So by being around them, hanging around them, we have to learn to develop those qualities ourselves so that we have a kind of harmonious interaction. If there's somebody who's very kind of good, warm-hearted, and there's somebody who doesn't like those things, somebody who then they're kind of, their ability to come together kind of becomes hindered. Yeah? So this is why when we learn to hang around good people, sometimes just through osmosis, just through seeing and observing those good qualities, through wanting to be friends with this good person, we take on their qualities because we don't want to lose their friendship. We don't want to lose our association with them. This is kind of one thing, kind of just by being around them, just by maintaining our friendship with this person, we can take on good qualities. But there's also this aspect, this active aspect, you might call that a passive aspect to developing good qualities through association, but there's also an active aspect. In other words, if we just hang around with some people, it's not necessarily always going to do the trick. It's kind of, having said, there's actually lots of examples where kind of, maybe good people have some bad friends. Those bad friends can sometimes pull them down. Or, say like one very super, skilled and admirable teacher may have, many pupils, and then some pupils are just, not picking up on that skilled and admirable teacher's habits. And so what the teachers recommend is not only to just be hanging around somebody, but also to actually have this active aspect of looking for what's admirable in the person that we're associating with, and then actively trying to take that on, actively trying to adopt those qualities and imitate those qualities and become those qualities. And so we become this kind of person. We become like the people who are hanging around. And part of this attitude is also this attitude of respect. In other words, associating with a good person, somebody whose qualities we admire, we have this idea of respecting that person. We respect the good qualities in that person. We elevate them. We admire them. And this kind of admiration acts as a kind of draw to those good qualities as well. So it's kind of this aspect of identifying, what people are good, admirable people to hang around with, what people are virtuous, what people have generosity, and what people are practicing meditation, have kind of concentration, and are wise. We learn to associate with those people, kind of develop a shared body of habits. Learn to hang out with them when they're meditating, when they're behaving virtuously, when they're practicing giving. We learn to take on those behaviors, just by hanging around with them, doing this shared activity. There's also this aspect of discernment to that. We learn to identify what is it exactly about this person that I admire. What are the qualities this person has, which I want to possess as well. And once we've identified those qualities, then what we do is we actively try to take them on ourselves. This can kind of even take it a step beyond, because if we're just hanging around with somebody, then we adopt their habits. That's good. But when we learn about the principle, we can actually take it even further. We can apply it in different directions that we may not even have directly seen the person we're hanging around with practicing. And so these are some of the things that we can do when we find a good friend. We can kind of take on their habits, learn exactly what those habits are, and develop an admiration and respect for that friend and for those habits. And when this kind of thing happens, we can generate this feeling of like uplift, this kind of this sense of joy can kind of come up. This is especially the case if we, as this past week, if we're around a monk or nun or whoever that we really respect and admire their practice. We really respect and admire their good qualities. It's kind of seeing them and seeing the way they behave can give our mind a lot of brightness, can give our mind a lot of joy. So not only does this thing this aspect of hanging around good people just have this quality of taking in their wholesome qualities, just having this respect, having this kind of admiration for them brings up joy right now. And this feeling, this is very special. A very good opportunity here. And this kind of brightness brings light into our life. And we have this idea that I'm the best in the world, nobody tops me or anything like that, or a very kind of competitive attitude, we can lose this level of respect, lose this kind of quality of admiration for these people who have these wonderful qualities. Lose that quality of admiration, then we lose our ability to discern what that person's admirable qualities are. We lose our ability to take those qualities on. And if we continue with kind of disrespect, we lose our friendship with that person. So this is why the Buddha recommends all these things. Recommends in many places, the taking on of good friendship, and kind of looking for people who are better than ourselves, and associating with them, acting like they do in those areas that they're good, determining what the qualities are that they have that are good, and elevating this person in a place of respect. This is especially the case with our revered teachers, revered senior monks, that we hold them in a place of respect. Once we have this kind of respect, then our world becomes a bright place. Associating with people like this, holding them in a position of respect, then learning to see things this way is elevated, is very good. Learning to see these good qualities, we start to automatically sometimes even just notice the other good qualities in the world around us, in our life, and in the people around us. So in this way, the practice of kind of hanging around good people, associating with admirable friends, it can take us a long way. It can take us from developing virtue to developing generosity, and ideally even with the most trained kind of admirable monks and nuns, it can take us through the development of meditation. These people can point us the way to the Buddha's path, and can point us a way to a happiness that doesn't change. And this is one of the best things that we can have this is the best thing that we can have from associating with these good people. Okay, so I think leave that for reflection, and hope that everybody has a great day wherever you are, and all the best till next time.